Life doesn't come with a reset button, but lucky for you, this podcast does. Welcome to Life Rewired. I'm a survivor, storyteller, and your guide through the twists and turns of life after a brain injury. Here we like to laugh loud, speak the truth, and rewire what it means to heal, grow, and live boldly. Today we're talking with NLP results coach, master's NLP, timeline therapy, and hypnosis practitioner. Isn't that a mouthful? She's also an award winning author, a podcast host, Teresa Syms. And it all starts right after this. Hardest days, hope still burns, it won't retire. This is me, my life rewired. I was broken, now I'm whole. Wrote new chapters for my soul. Not the end, just re-inspired. This is me, my life rewired. As I mentioned before the opening, Teresa Syms is a transformational force in personal development and emotional healing. As a master practitioner in neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, and hypnosis therapy, Teresa empowers individuals to break free from the limiting beliefs. I'm going to reread that line again. I'm sorry. As a master practitioner in neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, and hypnosis, Teresa empowers individuals to break free from limiting beliefs, emotional blocks, and unconscious patterns that hold them back. Her coaching approach is deeply rooted in the science of how the mind works. Through the power of methodologies of NLP and TLT, Teresa helps clients rewire their internal dialogue, release past traumas, and create a compelling future with clarity and confidence. Teresa, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Rob. It's so nice to be with you again.
Yes, and I did her podcast a few months ago, and now you're doing my podcast, and I'm so thrilled to have you.
Thank you. I love being here with you. I love our conversations, and I learn something new from you every time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know where to begin because your world is so huge. How do you have time to breathe?
I actually cut my mornings off. My mornings are for me. They have to be because I wake up, the brain foggy part and
Yeah,
not able to actually. Sometimes I don't even know if I can remember my name in the morning. So I just decided a while ago that my mornings are mine.
that's
And then
great.
I just schedule what I feel I'm able to do. I do what I can and I don't stress about the rest.
That's awesome. You're doing what we preach to everybody to do, and then we don't do ourselves.
Very true. And you know what? If I can't help myself, Rob, I am not going to be good to anyone else that I'm here to serve
It's
and
very
to
true.
assist. So, yeah.
Yes.
What do they say about healing thyself first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Very true. I want to start with your brain injury associations, and then I want to talk about all the wonderful things that you do. So give us your story.
Oh, well, I think my actual first severe concussion started when I was about 6 or 7 years old. I was told to stay out of a neighbor's tree, did not, because I did everything I was not supposed to do. I was a little rebel. And I was hanging upside down from the main
Oh
branch.
no.
Yes, and my legs gave way.
Oh gosh.
And I landed flat on the top of my
Mm.
head. I heard a crunch, and my body just kind of collapsed over to the side. And when I was able to get up, I staggered home next door. Parents weren't home.
Oh no.
And no, that's okay because I was told not to be
You'd have been in
there.
trouble.
Oh, yeah, I would have gotten a smacking like you have no idea. And I apologize for saying that, but that's the way I was raised.
Weren't we all?
Uh, yeah. Uh, so I figured just, going home, climbed in bed, rested, but then I threw up.
Mm.
So of course, I hate to say it, but in 1967, there weren't a lot of concussion protocols. There wasn't a lot that they were doing for anything like that.
True.
And I just slept. And I guess when the parents got home, I must have appeared normal. I don't know. So that was the first one. And then during my first marriage, suffered some blows to the face. So they weren't, the doctors weren't sure if there was concussions included in that. But, life progresses. You just put everything aside, you move on, you do what you have to do. I was raising kids, working full time,
Right.
just, feeling like something wasn't quite right. And in 2003, I left that relationship. And fast forward, 2006, I remarried. And 8 months after that wedding, I was driving home in one of our lovely Ontario February winter storms. And yes, it was snow and ice and driving wind.
Oh,
And
goodness.
I was driving a Dodge Ram. And I was from a farming community. So I was used to driving in bad weather, driving my truck. I was fine, but I was in a city.
Oh,
And I went around the city this time to skirt around it because I didn't want to go through all the stoplights with the freezing rain and all that sort of thing, the ice. Well, that led me to fate, I guess. Things happen for a reason. I got onto this one road and traffic was just starting to pick up. And I'm looking in the distance and I see this other pickup truck starting to lose control. And they were fishtailing and they were off the road, on the road several times. And the person in front of me was a good, I'd say a couple 100 feet ahead of me and the person behind. We were keeping our distance.
yeah.
So I just saw what was coming. I stopped my vehicle in my lane. Person behind me, person in front of me stopped as well. And we just sat and watched. Not sure where this person was going to end up. It was incredible. I had my foot on the brake, and let me tell you, I felt like my foot was going to go through the floor. It was that hard pushing. And I had on the steering wheel what I'm calling, and I've always called, my death grip.
Yeah.
I was white knuckled hanging onto that steering wheel. And I watched the truck spin around, go back and forth, on and off the road. Finally, she fishtailed enough. She did a 360, went backwards in front of me, hit the ditch, and the force that she had from spinning slammed the front of her truck into mine.
Oh, goodness.
And the person behind me said that my truck, the back end of my truck, lifted a foot off the ground. I was hit that hard.
Oh, wow.
At that time, Dodge Rams, I don't know about now, but they were steel frame. And it pushed the steel frame back 8 inches. It destroyed my radiator. It was awful. The stereo we had in the truck had one of those removable cover plates,
Yeah.
display. It popped off and landed in the back seat.
Wow.
Everything was just a disaster. I felt immediate pain shooting back into my hip. Then my legs buckled and my knees slammed into the dash. I clenched my jaw, as we all do when, something like that's coming at
Right.
you. And I turned my head just at the moment of impact. And I couldn't feel my legs after that.
Oh, goodness.
It took a while for the emergency vehicles to get there because it was a very isolated freak snowstorm. It took me, they put a collar on, so they were suspecting another severe whiplash. That would have been my 4th or something along that line.
Goodness.
And I was in shock. The guy that witnessed the whole thing behind me come to me to see if I was okay. And I said, honestly, I can't feel my legs. And he said, well, I'm smelling fuel. So add to the panic. I needed to get out of this vehicle and I couldn't move.
Right.
But, it was just, sitting there waiting and waiting.
Yes.
And my husband was able to drive 40, 50 kilometers to get to me before I got to the hospital. It was just ridiculous.
Wow.
But these storms we have are something else. And I went into a bit of shock when I got into the ambulance,
Mm.
and just things were not going well. Long story short, after being in the ER for like 5, 6 hours, they just said, put a neck brace on, go home and rest. That's it.
Worst advice
So,
ever.
yeah. I mean, you don't tell me to do that. It's just not a good thing because I'm going to do what I'm told not to do usually.
Yeah.
And you have to keep going. I
Mm-hmm.
had a job that was very demanding, and, it's just unbelievable, the stress of everything on top of this. And nothing worked from what they gave me. Their advice was just very poor. I went home, managed a couple weeks later to get to my family doctor. Yeah, full soft tissue injuries. I ended up with, I think it was 9 fractured teeth.
Goodness.
Yeah, most of my teeth are crowns because of all the
Naturally,
damage.
yeah.
Yeah, my leg has never been the same. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
arthritis is developing, and as we age, injuries get
And I'm
worse.
sure the barometric pressure plays a big role in your levels of pain too.
Absolutely, absolutely. With what's going on now with this heat, and then we get thunderstorms, and then the rain,
Yes.
and my spine is just full of arthritis
Mm.
and all that sort of thing. So it's life has its way of working out in the end, because
Mm.
after that, I found a physiotherapist in the city I was living in who had treated me 10 or 15 years before that. I didn't know she was still practicing. So it was a blessing to find her, because I actually had gone for chiropractic treatment, which was the worst mistake I'd ever made.
Mm.
The chiropractor actually at that time told me to lay face down on the bed and lift my head. That was my exercise. Or lay on my back and lift my head. Well, you can't do that when you've had muscles torn in your
No.
shoulders and everything else. It's the neck needs to rest.
Right.
Everything else needs to stabilize.
Good
But,
grief.
I went back to work 3 days after that because I had to,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then lost my job because I couldn't do the staircase to get up to the office.
Oh gosh.
It was a nightmare, but you know what? It worked out for a
It
reason,
did.
because that position was not right. So working with this physiotherapist, who was also a chronic pain management specialist, she taught me about brain injury and how the neuroplasticity of the brain
Mm-hmm.
can do what we need to if we reteach it.
Yeah.
And I learned so much from her. We did exercises or tests to see if I could walk a straight line and look up. No, I'd fall over.
Yep.
Walk a straight line with my head down, I'd fall over. Or try to unwrap a candy wrapper while I'm walking. Can't do it, I'd drop it. So it was kind of decided it was mild acquired brain injury.
Yeah.
And once we sorted all that out, I went for physio to have her help. And the other injuries were not as prominent in my life. I want to say they were, but they weren't. I actually did a contract job after that at a university hospital locally, and that was just a temporary contract. So it ended when my neck was screaming at me,
Mm.
saying, come on, you smarten up. You shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
When you get white hot burning
Mm-hmm.
pain in a muscle,
Yep.
you really should pay attention a lot more. And I'm just stubborn enough that I didn't at the time. But
Yep.
I've learned. With with age comes wisdom. So, but I struggled with cognitive ability after that. I couldn't even read a recipe, and I love to bake and I love to cook, and I could not follow a simple recipe to make a cookie.
Yeah.
So that was one of my tasks for retraining my brain, was to just take my time and follow the recipe step by step. I'd read the recipe, go to get something, forget what I was doing.
Yep. I've been
You
there.
know, yeah, yeah. And it's very unsettling, very
Hmm.
upsetting. And
Frustrating for sure.
yeah, absolutely. When you don't understand what's happening to you,
Hmm.
and yet this is happening to you.
Hmm.
And I don't know whether it's finding a way to adapt or a way to move through it. But I think both are very relevant
I think
because
so.
we do need to adapt to the situation,
Yeah.
what and understand why it's happening,
Hmm.
and get some real good solid guidance on how to move forward in your life.
You nailed it.
Yeah, and I mean good guidance, not
Yes.
yeah, good guidance, good resources, a support group, others that have been through the same experience.
Hmm.
I find since then that a lot of times I'll be speaking and everything just goes out of my head. I cannot recall the words I was going to say.
Yeah.
I've lost the same. See, this happens as well. I lose the statement completely.
Hmm.
So then you're scrambling, trying to think, what was I saying? What am I just say, well, wasn't important. Didn't need to be said. Oh, it's okay. I'm not going to stress myself out over it. So, because I find the more we stress ourselves out trying and pushing,
Hmm.
and I don't like the word trying because in the work I do, the word trying means no, I really have no intent of doing it.
Mm.
In certain contexts, yes, the word try is fine.
Right.
But when you're saying you're going to try to do something, or I'll try to be there, that means no, I'm not interested. I'm not going to be there.
Hmm.
So, life progressed. It changed the dynamics of my new marriage.
Yes, it does.
Rather than being equal partners, my husband became the caregiver.
Yeah.
And poor guy didn't understand what was going on either.
Hmm.
And, both of us had gone through really nasty divorces, and we were raising his kids. My kids were already older. But when my kids would come to visit, they couldn't accept it. They couldn't accept their mom being injured
Yeah.
because mom was always the tough one. Mom was always the one that pushed through. Mom was always the one that just never let anything stop.
Right. And it's hard for them to accept this is the woman I knew all these years, and now it's like this is somebody completely different I don't recognize.
Yeah. And that is one thing my older son did say to me is, Mom, I'm sorry. I don't like seeing you in pain like this.
Yeah.
So they chose to keep their distance.
Yeah.
So rather than learning what's going on and how they can assist me
Hmm.
and be there for me, they chose a different approach, which in their way of thinking, um, they didn't know how to deal with me. So they just, it's easier to just back off. But at the same time, they were probably exhibiting symptoms of grief
Yeah.
because they had lost the mom that they knew.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't that much different, I don't think, but could have been. No one said. But that is, I've come to learn through the work I'm doing that is the loss of a person, a personality
Hmm.
of who they knew and their strong mom. Not
Right.
that mom wasn't still strong, but at that point in time, mom was recovering.
Right.
And it honestly, Rob, it took me 9 years to try to get back to the place where I felt I could contribute again.
Yeah.
Simple things like you're walking and all of a sudden you forget you're supposed to move your foot,
Yes.
or you go to grab something and you jam your fingers into the door or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
That still happens for me. Uh, and there's extensive nerve damage. So, you get these really sharp jabbing shots of nerve pain here and there.
Hmm.
And it's just a result of the spinal damage and the head injury.
Right. And when
But
people think and you tell them, I have to think about what I'm doing. I can't just naturally do it like with your
Yeah,
muscle memory. That just that blows their mind. That they can't wrap their mind around it.
exactly. And from the way I was before, I was up until my divorce, I was playing volleyball on a house league team. I was playing slow pitch, so baseball. I was doing all sorts of sports,
Mm,
cycling, all that sort of thing. My balance is so off.
yeah,
I rode my bicycle on a trail for the first time last year. So that was the first time I had the nerve to get back on my bike without it being hooked up to a trainer. I wasn't sure I had the balance,
how did that go?
but it was beautiful. It worked well. We were
Good.
camping in a park, so we had no traffic. It was fantastic. And for me, I was a bike racer when I was a kid. I raced bicycles on the road and on a velodrome. So being on my bike was my sense of freedom.
That's wonderful.
And to
And
get
having
back
that
on it,
those distractions out of your way probably helped your confidence as well.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when I think back about the bike helmets I wore when I was young, when I was racing, they're just little strips of foam. They're not like the helmets we have today.
Right.
But, I think if I fall off my bike now, I think my head is going to be the least thing I'm worried about because it has a helmet on, but the rest of me needs bubble wrap, I think.
That's you nailed it.
But, there was another incident that occurred about 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years in October. It was off after our Canadian Thanksgiving. Nice, beautiful day. I had had dinner the previous day for family. I went out on my back deck in the morning and I missed the step to go down.
Hmm.
I sailed off the top of the deck and went down and landed like it's about 4 foot drop. And I landed flat on my rear end with my legs out. And I I couldn't breathe.
Oh, that was the worst feeling ever.
And I was home alone. My neighbors weren't home. My dogs were outside, but they're not going to help me. They were actually the reason I went outside. But all of my back muscles went into severe spasm.
Oh gosh.
Couldn't figure out what was happening. I finally was able to catch my breath. And I kept just praying to myself, all I need to do is to be able to crawl up the steps, get to the phone and onto the couch in the living room to call my husband to get home. It took, I don't know how I did it, Rob. It took every ounce of strength I had and willpower to be able to get up. I crawled up the stairs. I got the phone, got in the house, called him. And this entire time, I'll never forget this, my eyes were crying. I wasn't personally aware I was crying, but my eyes were just running nonstop. And to me, and I've said this many times, it was my soul that was crying because of the extreme pain, shock, and trauma that I had just experienced again.
This is true.
Yeah. So there was another concussion just from the impact. I also fractured my T12 vertebrae.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I'm sending you bubble wrap for Christmas.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, again, waited for the ambulance. It was a nightmare trying to get there. They were going to carry me out on a chair and they were wobbly. The one person was new, or I could have walked out. And I said, but we cleared a path for you to get the stretcher in. Nope. You either walk out or we carry you out. And I said, look, I can't afford to be jiggled around.
Right.
So
Or
I
dropped.
said, or dropped. Yeah. Because one was male and one was female. Nothing against that. But, I'm not a small person. And so I just finally got fed up with them arguing about it. And I just said, fine, I'll get up. And I got up and I walked out. The stretcher was outside my back door. And I said to the one attendant, okay, now I'm here, and now I'm going to tell you I'm going into shock right now. She's like, no, you're fine. We'll give you a hot blanket when we get you in the ambulance. I said, you are not listening. So they wheeled me down the bumpy driveway, all the vibration, and I had to lay on my back, which was even worse. Anyway, long story short, got to the ER. They parked me in a hallway and said, if you need the washroom, it's down the hall.
Like nothing was wrong with you.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. There was actually, the city I was in had a huge narcotic problem.
Oh.
And people were faking injuries to get the drugs. And I said to them, can you not tell the difference? In all of your training, can you not tell the difference? Right. So anyway, they put me in a cubicle and I laid there for 4 hours. The doctor did not believe me. He was fiddling with someone else, helping someone else. And finally he said, well, we'll just send you for an x-ray. Okay. So lay on those hard x-ray tables on your back. Came back and he said, total change in demeanor. And he had a box of Kleenex with him. And he said, you have a compression fracture of your T12 vertebrae. This is what happened. And he crushed the box of Kleenex. And I said, yes.
I tried to tell you.
Yeah. So his solution was a bottle of morphine, go home and lay down. And this was in COVID. So not a lot of help once again. No. So no physios would look after me. I could not have massage therapy. I could not have chiropractic therapy. So just, you sit there and you wonder. And it actually affected the fogginess in the head even more because of the jolt. Right. So, life has a way of throwing you things that actually are gifts in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Yeah, because I've taken these injuries and I taught myself how to rewalk. I'm doing fine. I was just out shopping this afternoon. I can still drive my car. However, trauma sometimes sets in, just a little trigger when a vehicle's coming towards me from the wrong side. But that's always a work in progress for me. I know my trigger and I have the ability to talk myself through it.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the work that I've been doing lately.
And you've taken all of your life experiences, you've transferred it into what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And you're helping so many people. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about just pick one out of the hat.
An individual, you mean?
Okay, like the hypnotherapy that you do.
Okay. Well, neurolinguistic programming is all about language and the brain. It's how we talk to ourselves and how we process the language we use. Whether we speak it verbally or we think it, it affects us however we communicate it. Our unconscious mind is always listening, whether to our words or our thoughts. And the thoughts, or not the thoughts, but the words of others. They have a way of affecting us.
Right.
So with NLP, it's basically retraining you to use your language more effectively and to always reframe how you say things. So for example, I don't want to do this podcast today because I don't feel well, or something along that line. For example, to reframe that would be, I'm going to have the best experience I can today, and I'm going to show up not just for you, but for myself as well and everyone that's listening. Doesn't that have a lighter, better way of feeling and being? And when that verbalization, you feel it inside of you, it changes your whole demeanor. It changes how you show up. It changes how you feel. Physiology completely.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
I have a coworker that she is always, oh, it's going to be the same thing. And like, no, it's not. And I'm always constantly correcting her, say, this is how it's going to be this time. I've got this.
Yeah.
Who's got this? I've got this.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly her cheerleader. I've worked on her for several years, but now she's got so much of a better attitude and a positive outlook on life than she did 3 years ago.
Beautiful. Yeah, because that was then.
Mm-hmm.
This is a new experience. What we're experiencing right now is not what's going to happen right now.
Right.
Because that was then. You know, there's always a shift in time and how we process things and how we experience things.
This is me, my life rewired.